So, what are some of the ways that you're seeing out there that local funders are persuading people who haven't invested in news before, who haven't seen that as philanthropy, who haven't seen that as a public good that they need to invest in, like children's health or, mental health or, hungry kids, stuff like that, right? How can we frame ourselves in the same urgent public way? Who's doing a good job of that? What are some good models we can be thinking about in terms of talking to people and organizations with money and persuading them that community news is a public good that should be funded?
That's great. So let me link a couple of things together. I think there are different cases that we make depending on the kind of funders that we're talking to, because many of the press forward funders, quite frankly, are still in fundraising mode. We're doing something we've never really done before in terms of going out and talking to other foundations and funders just like me and making the case for journalism. And so on a national level, when we're talking to people concerned about the state of the country, fundamental argument is usually around how community news, local news is important to democracy. How important it is to the preservation of what we care about, because local news at its best is not just about changing our points of view, it's about changing our views of each other. It is about how we connect to each other and the kind of community that we can build together when we know and understand the basic facts about our lives and about who we are and about who we live amongst. And the hollowing out of local news, as I've said, has been filled in by this national media that doesn't care about what it is. Rashad and Mark pointed earlier to the trust data about what's happening here, and this will link to what we're talking about when we're talking about the local level. The reason why people trust local news more is because you guys are here and you have a vested interest in the outcomes that communities are looking for. And let me just say what does that mean when we talk about community outcomes and the kinds of things that communities want, and link that to my job title, sustainability of local news, is that if you look at where the revenue growth has come across the last 5 years, it certainly hasn't been from advertising. It's been from reader revenue, and it's been from local philanthropy. What do those people care about? Do they really care about saving journalism, or do they care about the fact that you're going to help me accomplish and make the place where I live a better place for me and my family? And so I think community newsrooms that have a strong sense of the kind of outcomes they want to achieve, the kind of things they want, the kind of community they want to live in, and the kind of fights they want to have in order to make that happen, I think are the best prepped one for being able to raise funds, because they can talk about not just the story that we publish, but how we help contribute to lowering maternal mortality, to lowering opioid overdoses, to rooting out corruption and holding people accountable. I think those are really important ones. And the last thing I'll end with is, because I know my boss would kill me if I didn't, is just a quote from him in terms of really a fundamental quote that I think you'll have, is that no matter what your first priority is, journalism should be your second priority. Because I think it comes down to, if you think something is a problem, how do you know that? And how do you know that things are going to be able to fix it? How do you know how that problem is being fixed without people asking questions? How do you know the dollars are being spent correctly unless you have people asking questions about it? I'd also like to say, stealing from someone else, that it's a ballet-sized problem, right? Like ballets, art museums, these are all things that we are okay contributing to on a local basis, both with local philanthropic dollars as well as with buying tickets and being able to go there. That's what we're talking about. Philanthropy, reader revenues, advertising should all be part of the pie, but philanthropy, starting with national dollars from Press Forward, catalyzing local dollars, I think is an important part of how we're going to sustain local communities across the country.
Doug, thank you for that. We're going to move